Beyond Sand, Silt, and Clay, the PQNK Guide to Creating Productive Soil. Question raised by a farmer, Mr. Rakesh, Rajasthan, India. A farmer asked a question: does soil texture and soil structure affect crop production? If yes, then which one is best? Does soil texture and soil structure have an effect on picnic? Response of the picnic: Natural Ecosystem Science for Production Agriculture. 1. Definitions and Foundational Science. Thank you for this excellent question. It gets to the very heart of what makes soil thrive. Let's start by defining our terms, as understanding the difference is the first step to managing it. Soil texture: this is the inherent and permanent proportion of sand, silt, and clay particles in your soil. Think of it as the soil's DNA. It's inherited from the parent rock material and is essentially unchangeable on a human timescale without massive, disruptive amendment. You're born with your texture: sandy, clay, or loam. Soil structure: this is the dynamic arrangement of those sand, silt, and clay particles into larger clusters called aggregates or PEDs. Crucially, structure is not inherent. It is a living condition created and maintained by the biological processes in your soil: root exudates acting as glue, fungal hyphae acting like rebar, and microbial secretions binding it all together. This is why structure is highly changeable. You can destroy it with poor practices or build it with intelligent management. PQNK, Natural Ecosystem Science for Production Agriculture, to be pronounced as PICNIC, which stands for Paedar Qudratti Nizam Kashatqari, and means the Regenerative and Sustainable Pristine Organic Farming System. The first step: addressing the legacy of disturbance, the hardpan. Before we can build a new system, we must correct the failures of the old one. For many farms transitioning from conventional practices, this means addressing a common man-made problem: the hardpan, or tillage pan. A hardpan is a compacted, impermeable layer typically found just below the depth of regular tillage. It is not a textural issue, it is a severe structural problem caused by mechanical pressure from equipment, which collapses soil aggregates and destroys the pore spaces that life depends on. State clearly: a hardpan must be broken up once, as a foundational step, before establishing permanent raised beds and the full PQNK system. This is a rare instance where strategic, mindful mechanical intervention, e.g., using a subsoiler, is necessary to enable biology, not destroy it. The goal is to shatter the compaction without inverting the soil layers, thereby creating pathways for future roots and water to penetrate deeply. This single action is the key that unlocks the land's potential, allowing everything that follows, especially the raised bed system, to function correctly. The non-negotiable PQNK Foundation: preventing water inundation. Once any existing hardpan is addressed, the fundamental and non-negotiable ongoing practice in PQNK is the absolute prevention of soil water inundation. This is most effectively achieved through the use of raised beds. Why is this so vital? Soil pores must contain a balance of both air and water. When pores are completely filled with water, inundation, the obligate aerobic microbes, the vast majority of the soil food web responsible for nutrient cycling, aggregation, and plant health, drown and die because they cannot access oxygen. They are replaced by anaerobic microbes, which are largely detrimental to plant health, produce toxins like alcohols and formaldehyde, and break down soil structure, leading to compaction and loss of organic matter. Raised beds are not just a suggestion, they are a primary tool to ensure perfect aeration and prevent this total microbial collapse. Without this, none of the other PQNK principles can function effectively. Any production process that inundates soil with water, disturbs soil through tillage, or leaves soil bare without organic mulch cover does not qualify as natural ecosystem science for production agriculture. Impact on crop production, conventional view. In a conventional, chemically driven system that ignores soil biology, texture is king. It dictates everything: water retention, Sand drains too fast, clay holds too much, drainage, aeration, and nutrient holding capacity, CEC. In this degraded context, a loam texture is considered best because it offers a passive, physical balance of these properties in the absence of a functioning soil ecosystem. Structure is often destroyed by tillage and compaction. When present, good structure improves root penetration, water infiltration, and gas exchange. In a conventional view, it's a welcome bonus but not the main focus. 5. The PQNK perspective, structure over texture. Yes, both affect production, but from a PQNK perspective, structure is infinitely more important and manageable. PQNK operates on a revolutionary principle: we must work with the texture we have, but we can completely transform the structure to create ideal conditions. The provided foundation of first remedying hardpan, then implementing raised beds, preventing inundation, thick mulch, moderating temperature and moisture, and no-till, preventing disturbance, allows us to do exactly that. While a loam texture is ideal in a degraded system, PQNK practices can make a clay or sandy soil function like a super-productive loam by building optimal structure and biology. Therefore, the best soil is not defined by its inherited texture but by its degree of functionality, how well it performs the services required for plant growth. The PQNK transformation, how it happens. This is the magic of managing the ecosystem. Here's how PQNK transforms any soil type into a fertile, productive land. The engine, microbial bloom, the thick organic mulch and lack of tillage, combined with the perfectly aerated environment of raised beds, create the ideal habitat. This ignites a bloom of fungi, bacteria, and earthworms. The raised beds are key here. They ensure this microbial life thrives without ever being drowned out. Building aggregates, the glue factory, this life builds the structure. Fungal hyphae, mycorrhizal and other beneficial fungi physically thread through soil particles, stitching them together like steel rebar in concrete. Microbial glues, bacteria and fungi exude sticky, glue-like substances, polysaccharides, glomalin, that coat mineral particles and bind them securely into water-stable aggregates. Earthworms, their movement mixes minerals and organic matter, their casts are perfect, stable aggregates packed with nutrients and microbes. The natural ecosystem science was never applied in production agriculture. Solving sandy soil. Sandy soil has large pores and no cohesion. The microbial glues and hyphae bind the sand particles together, creating aggregates that dramatically increase water and nutrient retention. The soil becomes darker, holds moisture, and no longer behaves like pure sand. Solving clay soil. The first task, breaking the hardpan. For clay soils, the existing hardpan is often the primary constraint. The one-time mechanical breaking of this pan is the critical first step that allows the subsequent biological processes to take hold. Without this, water would still perch on the pan, creating an underground reservoir that undermines the drainage benefits of the raised bed and leads to waterlogging. Once the hardpan is shattered, the biological processes create aggregates that open up large pores between them. This allows for critical aeration, root penetration, and drainage, preventing waterlogging. The raised bed system further enhances this by guaranteeing excess water drains away. The clay becomes crumbly and friable, not hard and massive. The result, in both cases, the soil begins to physically resemble and, most importantly, function like a loam. It has a crumbly, well-aggregated structure that allows for simultaneous excellent drainage and water retention, free gas exchange, and easy root exploration. The inherent texture is still there, but its negative characteristics are completely mitigated by the powerful, living structure built by the soil ecosystem. Effect on PQNK, a symbiotic relationship. Texture's effect on PQNK. Texture simply sets the initial starting conditions. A heavy clay may require a more robust raised bed system and more organic matter initially to kickstart the process. It informs the strategy but does not limit the outcome. Structure's effect on PQNK. This is a symbiotic relationship. PQNK is the cause, and improved structure is the effect. The entire purpose of the PQNK practices, remediating hardpan, then no-till, mulch, living roots, raised beds, is to create the conditions for biology to build perfect soil structure. The improved structure then creates a powerful positive feedback loop. Better structure supports more biology, which further improves structure, which allows the microbial community to more effectively make a perfect blend of nutrients from within the soil system, exactly as described in the PQNK philosophy. Conclusion. In summary, do not be limited by your soil's texture. The PQNK approach provides a clear, two-phase path. A one-time correction of past structural damage, hardpan. A permanent shift to managing the biological system that builds soil structure on raised beds. This powerful combination allows any soil texture to be guided towards a thriving, productive, and resilient state. You become a manager of the life within the soil. Your goal is not to change your soil's DNA, but to unlock its ultimate potential by first removing the barriers to life and then fostering the ecosystem that builds it from within. Any production process that inundates soil with water, disturbs soil through tillage, or leaves soil bare without organic mulch cover does not qualify as natural ecosystem science for production agriculture, PQNK, picnic.